Understanding dyslexia. Supporting students in the general education classroom. Hello, everyone. Today we're going to talk about dyslexia, what it is, how it affects students in the classroom, and what general education teachers can do to help students succeed. By understanding dyslexia, we can create more supportive learning environments where every student has the opportunity to reach their full potential. What is dyslexia? According to the International Dyslexia Association, dyslexia is a specific learning disability that is neurological in origin. It primarily affects a person's ability to recognize words accurately and fluently, as well as their spelling and decoding skills. In simpler terms, dyslexia is a brain-based learning difference that makes reading, spelling, more difficult. It is not caused by low intelligence, poor vision, or lack of effort. In fact, many individuals with dyslexia are highly intelligent and have strengths in creativity, problem-solving, and critical thinking, 3 characteristics of dyslexia. There are several characteristics of dyslexia that teachers may notice in the classroom. The first is difficulty with decoding words. Students may struggle to sound out unfamiliar words or read accurately. They may guess words based on the first letter instead of reading the entire word. The second characteristic is slow or inaccurate reading fluency. Students often read more slowly than their peers and may pause frequently or lose their place while reading. Because so much effort goes into decoding words, reading comprehension may also suffer. The third characteristic is difficulty with spelling and writing. Students may spell the same word differently within the same assignment, leave out letters, or confuse similar sounds. Writing assignments may take significantly longer because spelling requires extra effort. It's important to remember that these challenges are not signs of laziness or lack of motivation. They are part of how dyslexia affects language processing. Severity, presentation, and comorbidities dyslexia looks different for every student. Some students have mild reading difficulties and need only a few accommodations, while others require intensive reading intervention. Students may also have additional conditions that occur alongside dyslexia. Common comorbidities include ADHD, which can affect attention and organization, dysgraphia, which impacts handwriting and written expression, and anxiety, especially if students have experienced repeated frustration or embarrassment while reading. Because every learner is unique, teachers should avoid assuming that all students with dyslexia have the same strengths and challenges. Student case example. Let's consider a student named Maya. Maya is a 4th grade student who enjoys science experiments and participates actively in classroom discussions. She understands new concepts quickly and asks thoughtful questions. However, when it's time to read aloud, she becomes very quiet. She reads slowly, skips words, and often guesses unfamiliar vocabulary. On written assignments, Maya has many spelling errors, even on words she knows. She takes much longer than her classmates to finish reading assignments, and sometimes avoids independent reading altogether. Without understanding dyslexia, someone might think Maya isn't trying. In reality, she's working much harder than her classmates, just to complete the same tasks. With appropriate reading intervention, classroom accommodations, and encouragement, Maya can continue to build her reading skills while demonstrating her knowledge in other ways. Evidence-based strategies and accommodations. General education teachers play an important role in supporting students with dyslexia. The first evidence-based strategy is explicit, structured literacy. This includes directly teaching phonemic awareness, phonics, vocabulary, fluency, and comprehension in a systematic way. Structured literacy approaches have been shown to improve reading outcomes for students with dyslexia. The second strategy is providing appropriate accommodations. Examples include allowing extra time on assignments and tests, providing audiobooks or text-to-speech technology, giving copies of class notes, reducing unnecessary copying from the board, and allowing students to demonstrate learning through oral responses when appropriate. These accommodations help remove barriers without lowering academic expectations. Teacher interview summary. For this presentation, I spoke with a teacher who has worked with students with dyslexia. The teacher shared that one of the most important things they have learned is that students with dyslexia often understand much more than their reading performance suggests. They emphasized the importance of patience, positive encouragement, and maintaining high expectations while providing appropriate supports. They also stressed that collaboration between classroom teachers, reading specialists, and families leads to the greatest student success. This insight reinforces that students with dyslexia benefit most when everyone works together as a team. Dyslexia simulation reflection. At this point, I will show a short dyslexia simulation that includes scrambled or difficult-to-process text. Pause for the 15-30-second simulation. While this simulation cannot fully represent what every person with dyslexia experiences, it helps us understand how mentally exhausting reading can be when decoding words requires constant effort. Something that takes one student only a few seconds may take much longer for a student with dyslexia.